Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here with a book haul of books from Dover Publications. I first came across Dover Publications when I was shopping in my college's bookstore and found anthologies that were based off of different countries. So there was British literature and Russian literature there, and a very nice selection of authors and their stories. So I expanded my collection of that, and I've had those books for quite some time. And then I saw that my grandmother was shopping through that. She got the catalogs and would shop for coloring books. I looked through the catalog and saw some really fascinating books, and then went online and bought some. And then they just have the prices are extremely cheap. If they're somewhere, some of them are as cheap as $1, and they go up to maybe $10, maybe a little bit more than that. But it's really they're really great deals, and they have sales all the time. There's so many sales that I have to pick and choose which ones I'm going to take part. So I engaged in 3 shopping trips off of Dover Thrift, and I thought I'd show you what I got. First thing that I got is the Dover Anthology of Cat Stories, which this is right up my alley because I have a great admiration for my cats, especially the ones that have moved indoors: Tito, Minnie, Colleen, Taz, and Beacon. And then there's Blue, he comes in and out. Izzy comes in during the winter, and then everybody else is primarily outside. But there are stories here from Mark Twain, H.P. Lovecraft, Saki. Emile Zola has a story in here. Bram Stoker has a story in here. And it's just quite amazing. I'm really looking forward to getting into it. Next thing that I got is the First American Cookbook, a facsimile of American Cookery, 1796, by Amelia Simmons. And I think that this is just a piece of American history that I would really like to look into and see how cookbooks were approached back in this day. Next thing that I got is the Jefferson Bible, The Life and Morals of Jesus of Nazareth. And this is something that Thomas Jefferson put together about biblical verses that he found were important to him, and express what he sees as a belief in God, because he was himself a deist, and he didn't necessarily see Jesus in a chosen one kind of way, but instead he saw him as the great teacher and the great he saw him as being an outstanding teacher and figure, and someone that held such a great influence on making the world a better place. But that is definitely something that's up for debate, but nevertheless, I'd still be interested in reading this because I feel that Thomas Jefferson is a remarkable man and a genius. The next 4 books that I got were science experiment books, which perhaps if we ever do more hands-on reviews, I will have some sources that I can rely on when it comes to coming up with ideas. There is Physics Experiments for Children by Muriel Mandell, Chemistry Experiments for Children by Virginia L. Mullin, Biology Experiments for Children by Ethel Manauer, and The Science of Water, Tabletop Scientist, Projects and Experiments with Water, Science, and Power. And this was put together by Steve Parker. We have a great time doing the science experiments and the recipes, even though the science experiments are a little bit easier to put together. But either which way, we're definitely game for more in the future. Next thing that I got is The Boy Who Drew Cats and Other Japanese Fairy Tales by Lafcadio, Hearn, and others. We discussed The Boy Who Drew Cats in a Season 5 discussion on our show, and I'm definitely keen to reading more of these fairy tales because I feel that Lafcadio Hearn did an outstanding job with The Boy Who Drew Cats. Next thing that I got is great short stories by contemporary Native American writers, which I really want to learn a lot more about Native Americans and the different tribes, because they lived here thousands of years before we did. And when we came and colonialized the place, we treated them worse than we probably treated them worse than anyone, because of how the American colonists gave no regard to their well-being, because they had this more indigenous, nature-based way of living, where in the colonial way of thinking, everything is it's all about settling and who owns what. But there are plenty of people from Pauline Johnson, who has the oldest story in here, and Sherman Alexie, who has the most recent. Next thing that I got was Carl Sandburg, Chicago Poems. Carl Sandburg is a poet that I want to get into a little bit more. And I also was watching an episode of What's My Line, where he was the mystery guest, and he's quite a fascinating man. He's also known for putting together a biography of Abraham Lincoln. I got this collection of D.H. Lawrence's stories. It was only about $2, if that. It was on sale, and it was at a really good price, and definitely something that I want to get into. Being the food lover that I am, I got some food-based books as well. I got a favorite Swedish recipes cookbook, which can go alongside my Scandinavian cookbook. This was edited by Selma Wifstrand. Russian cookbook by Kira Petrovskaya, and I think that this is my very first cookbook of Russian recipes. This may have been something I should have taken advantage of when I was taking either one of my Russian history classes or Russian film classes, and it was time to put food together. But anyhow, I did my presentations on Russian literature, and I think that was best. And I got the cheese handbook. Over 250 varieties described and with recipes by T.A. Layton. Anything about cheese is bound to catch my interest, and this was at a very affordable price, so I couldn't turn it down. This All About the President's Search a Word Puzzle by Frank J. D'Agostino caught my attention. I really am into anything having to do with presidential history, and this would definitely be something fun to go over. Another science experiment book I got on my second online visit was Safe and Simple Electrical Experiments by Rudolf F. Graf. And this was at a very cheap price as well. I don't know if this is going to be one that I get to. I think that I probably could, because they say that the experiments are safe and simple, so I should probably ignore electrical. I don't think I'm going to be the kind of person that has any accidents due to the inability to operate the machine, be able to operate everything that is needed. And on my most recent trip, on my most recent book buying visit to Dover Publications, they had a warehouse sale, and I got the poems of Emma Lazarus, who is known most for writing the New Colossus, which is found on the Statue of Liberty. But she has also written various other poems and other works. And I got Martin Gardner's Table Magic, which be interesting to do a hands-on review of the magic trick. Especially something that's simple, and maybe make it into something. Because that's where where a love for magic begins, between that and what they see being demonstrated. And this is what I bought. Thank you for tuning into this book haul. I highly encourage you to check out Dover Publications if you're looking for buying books and at a reasonable or very cheap price. And I hope you tune into some more videos on our channel. For now, keep reading.